Well, that was a sorry face, wasn't it?
I did manage, after I took that video, to find a farmer's field in the end after lots of meandering around and set up camp. I then set an alarm for 7 AM, and even before I went to sleep was trying to find solutions, because at the end of the day, if nothing else, I am a stubborn person. So I put myself in emergency mode to try and find as many solutions as possible. Though emergency mode kind of makes camera work take the backseat a little.
Right. 7 AM. Stuffing my face with food that I bought yesterday. Hopefully it's still okay. I'm not even hungry. Plan of action. Pack up ASAP. There was a mobile bike repairing guy in the town over, which would have been perfect, but he's in France. So yeah, pack up ASAP, get out of this field I'm in. Train station, get from Tiverton train station, take the train to Exeter, get it fixed, come back, carry on. Train's in 30 minutes. I'm going to try and be quick.
By this point before this video, I probably already ruled out plans A through E, and this was more like plan F. However, it already fell apart.
Well, you'd be naive for thinking that Tiverton Parkway train station's in Tiverton. No. It's 2 hours 15 minutes walk from Tiverton. That's all I've got though. So I'm there, I'm heading.
The plan was to get to the nearest train station and then take a train into Exeter, where there are plenty of bike shops. However, the route to get to the train station was 2 hours and 15 minutes walk, which I could not afford. So, with running and freewheeling the bike down the hills that I could, I managed to get there in 45 minutes. After I arrived, I literally just went to the nearest possible bike shop, and they were amazing.
Thank you to the guys at Bike Shed in Exeter. They were really good. They fit me in, despite the fact they said that they were fully booked and then overbooked, if anything. But they managed to sort of get to my bike straight away. Yeah, and here's what they did. So I'm back in Tiverton Parkway. It's just coming up to 10 to 12, and we have a new freewheel. And this is apparently called a freewheel, not a cassette. Apparently the difference is that a cassette is more modern, it's preferred because it's attached to the wheel, and therefore the wheel and the cassette take the strain of the chain and you cycling. However, with a freewheel, it's not actually welded or attached properly, to the wheel, and therefore it is taking all the strain of the pedalling. Roughly accurate. Bike nerds can have a go at that description if they want, but mine was completely shredded and had to be replaced. So what does that mean for me going forwards in this bike? It means I have a hard decision to make. You see, they were very kind in the shop, but their prognosis wasn't good for the future health of this bike. They could already see that some ball bearings in the front of the wheel had started to go, and they will need replacing soon, though they might be able to keep me going a bit longer. And they think generally this is going to be a more frequent occurrence if I keep going. Now, I mean, this bike was a touring bike, it was made as a touring bike. The frame is much stronger than many bikes that are made today, because there were greater quality of welding they used to have back then. But unless I was to replace everything, the cassette, the crank arms, the pedals, the bottom bracket, the derailleurs front and back, the gear systems, the shifters, the brakes, the brake levers, on the bearings of the wheels, then I'm gonna likely have these issues in the future. On the other hand, one of the bike shop members who likes vintage bikes was under the impression that once I get over the Severn Bridge, then everything will be much smoother and the strain on the bike will become much lower, and the hardest part of this trip is done, so the bike might be okay. And it's a shame really, right? I mean, I'm all about keeping old things going as long as they're not polluting excessively because they're old. And I love this bike. I think she's got great character to her. I think she's done well. She's 40 years old. She looks great. And she's done me well so far. Well, not on this trip, but before this trip. So I don't really want to lose her. But if she's going to cause me this much pain, and she's going to prevent the trip from happening at all, me getting to that finish line in time, maybe I'm better without her. So there's a decision to be made. Do I replace the bike or not? And I don't know what the answer is. All I do know is I really need to make progress today, and that's going to be my main aim. And I stink. I really feel sorry for anyone downwind from me right now. I need a shower tonight. But first I need to get there.
So this was a serious day. No tomfoolery, no pieces to camber, just putting my foot down to make as much distance as possible to make up for the past few days. And the best way to achieve this? To cycle along the A38 for 80 non-stop kilometers. Okay, I know I said I wasn't going to stop and do any pieces to camera, but there was one really cool thing I wanted to show you. So, are you ready? Are you on the edge of your seat? Good. Okay then.
Look at these pylons. I remember they did a competition in like 2011. Hundreds of people submitted what they think the UK's next pylon should look like, and this one, I think it looks way better than the current ones that I think of absolute eyesight dating back from the 1920s. But it's 13 years since then. How come they still only exist in this tiny area of the country? I've only ever seen them in Somerset. Anyway, that's enough excitement for today. Time to get back on the road.
And I did eventually make it to the campsite, but not before a horrendous climb. I didn't have the GoPro filming at the time, but I can just show you these graphs. They show my elevation over time. So I climbed this massive hill, and then I phoned the campsite when I got to the top and I said, "Hey, I'm on my way." And the man said, "Oh, okay, where are you?" I explained where I was, and he said, "Oh, so you've got the big hill to come." And I thought, no, I think he's been mistaken. He might think I'm at the bottom of that hill, but I'm actually at the top. But no, I then had an even bigger hill, 600 feet constant climb, absolutely insane. Oh, I just wish I had the camera going. Anyway, I had some time to reflect when walking to the pub.
You know what? I'm pretty happy. Not just because I've showered, though that is a benefit. First time in a while I've not been able to smell myself constantly. But I made some significant distance today, despite everything that happened yesterday in that hole that I found myself in. And I will say that was one of the toughest walls I've had to break through in recent times. Having been knocked down so many times recently. But I'm happy I got over it. And then I managed to get in just over 100 kilometers before finding this campsite. And it was only just over 100 kilometers because I missed the campsite the first time and then had to do another 2 or 3 kilometers to get back to it. But good day to end the day. Good way to end the day. And it's downhill from here in a positive way. I'm on top of a giant hill just outside of Bristol that for some reason the airport was built on. As you can just see in the corner there, Bristol Airport. So we can hear all the planes going over very loudly in this campsite. Interesting, but I don't know, I just need somewhere to sleep at the end of the day. I'm not saying there's not going to be more bumpy roads ahead, but I'll try not to think about that for now. Just enjoy the night while I can. And yeah, hopefully I'll wake up early tomorrow to get going again. Probably wake up to the dawn chorus of jet setters and middle class businessmen flying into the airport and out of the airport, but hey ho. Anyway, catch you soon. I bought mini saurines because 1, they were on offer, and 2, if they're small, they can only do small amount of damage to my camping equipment.